What's the best way to deal with pressure, stress, and constant anxiety at a job where you're overworked and underpaid? Quit. Just kidding. Don't do that. Before I get into how to get through all this at work, I found out I had anxiety disorder years ago, and I had to figure out how I was going to continue working and thriving, of course, knowing all this. And of course, I was extremely worried that I wasn't going to be able to succeed. Anxiety. Go figure. Well, it doesn't look like I'm as special as I thought I was because anxiety is the top mental health issue in the workplace now. So I don't know if you're familiar with SHRM. It stands for Society for Human Resource Management. And they're saying anxiety is now the top mental health issue in the workplace. This shouldn't be surprising. We've had a lot going on from the pandemic to the stock and job market changes, causing economic uncertainty and a lot of division amongst people just going on all around lately. I'll attach this article and the other articles I'm going to show you in the description, just in case you want to check them out yourself. Forbes is also saying 74% of employees report negative mental health at work. And of course, they mention mental wellness is a high priority for employees. Duh. But more specifically, if you look at the breakdown here, 92% of workers say it's very or somewhat important to them to work for an organization that values their emotional and psychological well-being. So basically everybody. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the World Health Organization, but this article talks about some of the things that contribute to mental health issues at work, like poor work environments, discrimination, etc. They also talk about what the risks are and what companies can do to protect their employees. It's a good quick read. My thing is, though, if we know this exists, then why aren't companies treating mental health issues with more urgency? Now, most decent companies do offer wellness benefits now, which they're trying to make it seem like those wellness benefits are geared towards mental health benefits. But more often than not, those wellness benefits are geared more towards physical health, which is important, but different than mental health. And these are helpful benefits. They contribute positively, especially the wellness benefits that are geared toward financial benefits. But like I said, it's not the same. And a lot of the mental health benefits fall under your traditional medical insurance. And the way the healthcare industry handles mental health is a completely different topic. I don't want to veer off too much, but the way they handle it is problematic in and of itself. Now, when I was younger, I did handle things like microaggressions, workplace confrontations, and difficult managers much differently. But a lot of that just had to do with me not knowing enough about who I was yet and being afraid to speak up properly and communicate concisely, which of course caused my anxiety to get worse. But once I figured those things out, things started to smooth out a little bit. And I started feeling better, of course, about myself and not as stressed at work as I used to be. I was a wreck. And admittedly, the last few companies I worked for have been much better, but a lot of it just had to do with me gaining more experience and being better at vetting companies before I actually took the job. But yes, me being able to understand myself more helped as well. So how do you deal with it all when you're in a job where you're in an office, paid time off is limited, they don't seem to care about mental health at all, and you just can't seem to get away? The first thing I would do when I was overwhelmed is I would take a bathroom break or I would take an emergency call. Now, of course, if you work in a call center and you're in the middle of a phone call, you have to wait until the call's over, of course. But as soon as that call's over, you step away immediately. Now, why is it important to step away immediately? When you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, it is almost impossible to focus on what other people are saying because your brain is just cloudy. And when your brain is cloudy, you may not react the best way. Taking a breather is important. Now, of course, it doesn't completely resolve the issue, but it gives you time to step away, get out of that situation for a minute, clear your mind, and figure out how you're going to handle the situation or what you're going to say next. So I used to do this little thing back in the day when I was hourly, where I would take $10 out of each paycheck so that I could take a mental health day. And I'd take a mental health day about every quarter, just a day where I could, my favorite thing would be to order delivery or order takeout, just lay around, watch TV, not think about anything, and just relax. I'd make up all kinds of excuses for why I needed to take that day off, of course. I would never tell them it was for a mental health day. But I couldn't take too much time off, of course, because I was hourly and needed the money. And unfortunately, in the US, especially if you're hourly and especially if you're in a lower level position, they really don't care about you getting time off, or they definitely don't care about your mental health. Now, it's not always easy to find these kinds of jobs that offer mental health assistance, which is why it's important to pay attention to their benefits package on their company career site or their benefits section of the career site or in the job description. See if they mention it. Now, I do want to pause here for a second and talk about what I just said in regards to finding companies that offer mental health benefits if you can. Because look, I'm definitely not tone deaf. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't know that most people have to take whatever job they can, especially in this job market and especially in this economy. So if you don't have a job at all, of course, find what you can first. And then while you're bringing in some income, you can start looking at the companies that you actually want to work for and apply while you have a job. You can also look on a company's LinkedIn page to see how often they mention mental health, to see if they celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you see a lot of likes on that post from that company's employees on LinkedIn, that's a really good sign. Now, what you should avoid doing is telling your managers, your coworkers, or human resources anything about any sort of mental health issue you may have. Of course, use your own judgment, but I've said in another video that I don't believe you should ever trust your coworkers because someone is likely to tell someone else your business and you don't know how they're going to tell it to other people. You just don't want it getting out. Also, I was in denial about this for years because I was like, I have a mental health issue. I have anxiety disorder. Nothing's going to help me but medication. That's it. But diet and exercise does help. Look, it's not the end all be all, but it's so important to make some time for it. Even if you're not like a hardcore gym person, I'm not. When it's nice out, take a 30-minute walk, whatever you can do, get some sun. It's important. The reason why it's important is because it helps you to control the things you can so that when the going gets tough, because it always does, right? You're better equipped to handle it. That's all for now.